I'm Bill Moyers. On any one day in this country, there are about 15,000 women serving time in jail. Many come from broken homes. Most started on crime when they were young. And over half are mothers. Mothers whose children are likely one day to follow them into crime and jail.
We're going to call your husband back again. And for 15
This report is from one jail in Miami. The women here are either awaiting trial, most don't have the money for bail, serving short sentences for victimless crimes, or moving on to prison for serious crimes of violence. This is the newest women's detention center in the country. It is trying to be more than just a jail, but the odds are tough. In this hour, you will meet some of the women inside.
Lift your hands against the wall. That's all clear first. Spread your legs apart. Spread apart.
What's you trying to do
I have
to me?
to pat you down to see you have nothing on you.
I have nothing on me.
Well, I have to shake, okay?
Can I call my husband? I'm drunk and disorderly.
Okay. I don't know what you would call a crime, you know, but I did shoot a person.
Burglary.
I came to jail for prostitution.
For possession of firearm and they say possession of heroin.
30 years. I got 15 years for violation of probation for strong arm robbery, and I got 15 years for aggravated battery.
I got arrested for shooting the police car. My mistake, but he just happened to come around the corner and he got it.
First-degree murder, armed robbery, kidnapping.
Well, they got me in here for armed robbery that I didn't commit, strong armed robbery that I didn't even commit.
Well, here we usually hit them, see. So, we wouldn't bring anything back. They're usually searching us for contraband.
For some drugs or what?
Whatever.
Nice.
And then I tell them, this is God, you must like this job.
And we did the same thing.
Well, not the same thing. She gets variety sometimes.
The fucker is from putting back here in New York Straight.
Mrs. Spears, you're needed in social services.
Yellow skin
How many women come through here in the course of a year?
10,000.
10,000 through here?
Through here. Between 9,000 and 10,000 women are arrested annually in Dade County, Florida.
Is there a typical female offender?
No, there's not a typical female offender. I've done a lot of reading, on the subject and a lot of the studies since the census report in 1970. And one report will say she's white and 22 and no children. Another one will say, no, she's black and 18 and has 3 kids. It's very different. And I think each woman has to be looked at independently, and there is no atypical female offender.
I am branded already. When a robbery in this city is committed, and a white girl was involved, I'm one of the first girls that they come and pick up, always. Always.
They know you?
Well, I'll tell you, I went to jail in 1 year 77 times for loitering and prowling, which was thrown out. They can't arrest you for that. Yeah, they know me.
Oh, boy.
Girl, for going to hole?
You better get it. Get it, Judy.
Get it.
Before you let it. Get it, Juice. Thank you. We got it.
All right.
I'm here for conspiracy. Somebody had to tell on me. They would have told I wouldn't be in this son of a gun. But, I'm a good girl, too, What did you do? Salt and pepper.
Why?
Cocaine. They said cocaine. I said nothing.
Me and a co-defendant who they haven't apprehended yet was supposedly have robbed a man for his glasses and his car keys in January, but they never picked me up until March. There was no warrant out. The man just was looking for me and contacted the police when he saw me. And that's what they call a robbery.
That's why you're here?
Yes, one of the reasons. The other one is a federal charge.
Which is?
Forgery, aiding and abetting, conspiracy.
Like I told you, I was extradited from Toronto, and they've got a treaty, the U.S. and Canada, for extradition. And they extradited me to face the trial.
What were your charges?
Importing cocaine into Florida.
Everything that I've done wrong, or they've said I've done wrong, is all drug-orientated. None of my crimes started till I started messing with narcotics, which I never learned about until I came to jail. Well, when I was 14, I had fake ID, and I ran away and came to Miami, and I went to jail, and there was 2 girls in there that had scars all over their arms, and I said, "Ah, why are you sick all the time? Why are those scars on your arm?" They said, "We're gonna show you." When they got out, they showed me.
What did they show you?
They showed me heroin, and, you know, nobody forced me into doing it. I indulged my own self after seeing what the feeling was, you know?
I mean, I did it for survival. What I did, I'm rather not say, but I did it for survival. You see, now people that got houses to put up and all of this thing and got something to back them, sign yourself out, it's fine. A chick comes in through customs with her baby, full shoes full of cocaine, because she's married to a cop, she walks out the door. Spare me. You know, that's not what's happening. So they're watching the small ones, the poor ones. You ain't got no money, you're not going nowhere.
Do you think there's many times, unfortunately, I'm a prostitute or have indulged in prostitution? You think there's times that policemen haven't approached me and said, "Judy, if you open up your blouse tonight, you won't have to go to jail. Don't worry about a thing." Think that hasn't happened to me? I haven't had to get in the back of a police car, unfortunately, and ride to a field and stay there with a policeman for a while. There hasn't been a time that I haven't gone to a courtroom and had to go in a back room and do something and got released. Unfortunately, that's the truth. You know, I'm not the only one that could say this. There's others. But who's going to believe me? You know, look at my record.
Control to the third floor. Hey, Harper, 32.
Oh, we waiting on us, man. What you think we waiting on?
Of the many crimes that bring women here, the majority involve prostitution or narcotics or both. Once you're hooked on the stuff, you hustle to support your habit. Usually the trip starts early.
When I was younger, I always thought about it, you know, wondered what it was like, you know. And so I just went out and I tried it, and I saw that it was easy money, you know.
How much did you make from it?
A night?
Yeah.
I don't know, it depends on how hard you want to work, you know.
Give me an estimate.
You can make anywhere from 2 to 5, you know. It depends on how hard you want to work.
200 to 500.
Yeah.
Do you think prostitution should be a crime? Why?
Because everybody in this world is doing it. Some doing it legal and some doing it illegal.
You think you got a bum deal?
Yeah.
In what way?
The police, they just too hard on the women out there. Because, I mean, okay, I can understand if, you know, we offer to commit to them, but half the time we don't. They pick us up for nothing. I'm in here, I've been picked up about 23, 24 times, and about half of them ain't even real. It's just because they know what I do.
You just started 6 months ago, and you've already been picked up 22 times?
Just because I was known as a prostitute.
Does any of them have over $25, over $10? If he's still here.
I bet you that if you was to go to any jail like this one, you would find more prostitutes than you would find anything. I mean, even if they stole something, they are prostitutes too.
Mary, you looking for somebody?
Yeah.
When they called up Whitney finally, he gave me 60 days in jail for prostitution. And I wasn't even doing nothing. The officer solicited me, I didn't solicit him. But it's my word against his. You go to court, try to talk against the officer, man. The judge ain't gonna listen to you. You poor black, misused and mistreated. Ain't got nobody behind you. You just part of the system floating. If you got money, you can get out of trouble. If you poor like me and ain't got nothing, you're gonna always be down in the gutter. You're gonna get jammed one way or the other, whether you got money or whether you don't. Poor people catch hell.
Trying to get it.
Trying to get money and surviving, and then when you go out, when you leave out of here, try to get a decent damn job.
So what's wrong with trying to make a little piece of money to survive, pay my rent, pay my car note? You know? It's my body, you know? I can do with it, you know, as I please. There ain't nothing wrong with it. Just trying to get some money and live, that's all.
Main reason why I be out there, I can't get a job. And it's not because of the education, because I got my education. It's just the race. I don't even want to discuss that, but I was. Okay, you can go to a job and say the boss, he's a white man, okay? He might not want you because of your complexion. It's not, because you can be the brightest person there, and he still won't accept you. Okay, now, I know a lot of people who've been working on one job for 15 to 20 years, my whole lifetime, and haven't had a raise or nothing, but they break their necks every day to get something. So I say like this, I'm gonna do what I got to do to survive, and if it take me to sell my body, I'm gonna do it. If the police like it, if the mayor, the president, or anybody else, I'm gonna live.
It's only normal for a man to date a woman, and you know, if he ain't satisfied at home or something, you know, he sees you on the street. If it's the only way he can get you by paying for it, he gonna do it. Any man, you know, all kinds of men. I've had them from 15 to, you know, 90. You know, there's millions of them.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
As long as somebody ain't getting hurt in the process, getting robbed or killed like a lot of girls.
You know, it is some girls
Oh, girl! I know, you know, I'm honest about it. I
Then from the second floor going down.
Lunch, ladies.
And in Miami, 82 degrees Fahrenheit, 28 degrees Celsius.
I got something to tell you. You think about turning sideways, don't miss you completely. Good. Anybody else?
Took this lady out, two-tone color hair and all, blondie, and that's heart of glass.
Dave Ryder on AM, all music, WQAM, Miami.
Well, I was fighting, you know, so I me to go ahead and fight. I was going to her, so the police officer tried to break us up, so he got cut. So I'm doing time for that.
What's the worst kind of punishment you can have in here?
No, safety cell. They got a safety cell. If you don't have no clothes, no nothing.
A safety cell?
Yeah. Don't take no bath but once a week.
And they put you in there for 2 weeks?
Yeah, after the other girl went to prison, she was still in there.
You've been in here a year?
A year. Going on a year. 13 months now.
How long are you going to be here?
I don't know. I don't have no time yet.
What's the charge? Murder. First degree?
It was, and then it dropped to the second.
How old are you?
21. No. See, I got cuts and scars off of it. I was defending me. I got a scar here.
You were pregnant in jail.
I was pregnant when I was pregnant in jail. That was the second time I had been in jail. See, I had 33 counts of worthless checks because I was a heroin junkie and I supported my second husband's habit also. And I was writing. It started out the checks were covered, but then to a certain point, after that, we didn't have funds in the bank to cover. And since I was an addict, I just wrote checks.
Tell me, what kind of conditions did you live in?
I was just a rotten egg. You know, my parents did everything they could for me.
You
There
had
was
a
a lot of
father?
hostility in my family. My mother and father argued quite a bit, more than quite a bit.
How'd you get started?
I think I stole something. Yeah, that's my problem. I can't keep my hands off other people's stuff. I don't know, I seem to feel that if you have money and you get caught stealing, they say that you're a kleptomaniac. If you're poor, you're a thief. I mean, that's how I feel, you know.
How many children do you have?
8.
8 kids?
Yeah.
Who's taking care of them?
Protective Services has 2 of them, and my oldest son, he takes care of the rest of them.
How old is he?
14.
And the others range down from 14?
Yeah, down from 14.
Is there an adult in the house with
No.
them? They're by themselves?
Well, like I said, my oldest son is there. My oldest son, he got, I guess by me being in and out of jail most of his early life, he forgot to be a little boy. He just came from infant to, you may as well say, adulthood. I mean, well, I guess with a mother who's been in and out of jail, he had to, you know. And I'm proud of him for that.
What, is it likely that they'll wind up here?
With my 14-year-old, it's hard to say. I don't think he'll ever turn to drugs because he hates the idea that I've been on drugs. He knows what it can do to a family. You know, like it's turned my whole life upside down. It's taken my family away from me.
Or how do you stop the cycle of crime? How do you stop doing what you're doing?
It depends on how early in a person's life you catch that. A hardcore junkie, like they say I am, I've been on drugs for 15 years. It's hard to stop. It's easy for a person who has never been on drugs to say, hey, that's it, you know, let's stop. But if that person has never went through withdrawals, if that person has never cold turkey, feel that it's a feeling no one can explain. You know, you can read about it, yeah, but reading about it is one thing and experiencing it is another. That's the hard part. You have, oh, my mother, my father, my kids have always, Mama, stop, please stop. Yeah, okay, that's it. I square off. 10 minutes later, I'm somewhere with a spike in my arm, you know. You have to want to stop.
While serving time, trusted inmates are permitted to work on county landscaping. They are paid the minimum wage. For some of them, it is their first real job.
I don't like to take orders, one thing. And whenever someone told me something to do, I did just the opposite. But what I am telling myself is that even though stealing is fast money, the consequences, if I get caught, and eventually you will get caught, is jail. What they're trying to do here is prepare you for work on the outside. And on a legitimate job, the money may be slow, but I got my freedom, and I've learned to value my freedom a hell of a lot.
Out here?
Out here, yeah.
How do you like this kind of work?
It gets me out of the facility, so I like it. It gives me a better sense of freedom. The jail gives me a sense of freedom where, you know, there's no bars, you know. Even though you know you're locked up, you can't go out the front door when you're ready. You don't feel so closed in where bars and unless lenient restrictions, you know. I feel, well, in my particular case, I see girls coming in and out for grand larceny or grand theft, and they're sentenced to 60 days. I got sentenced for petty larceny to a year. At the time, I think the judge felt that he was right. You know, I think he did what he thought he had to do. I had an extensive past, but I don't think you should be sentenced on your past. You know, I did that, I paid for it, that should be it, you know. All of us at one time or another have did things that we don't want to hang on the line and let the neighbors or someone else, you know, see. We don't want to air these things out. Unfortunately, there are some people who think that your past should be strapped on your back and always be a part of you. I don't think that. I don't think so.
Can you go straight?
It's easy to say, yeah, but it's hard to do it. I want to go straight. I know I have the ability, the initiative to go straight, but I'm going to try, that's all. I don't like to make promises that I can't keep.
It's going to be a boring weekend, girls.
Yeah. They'll be all weekend.
I'll be here tomorrow.
You know, she'll go in there and film Saturday and let them know how to psychiatrist.
I said whenever I come to jail and I know I have to stay, I try to get involved with another woman.
But 9 out of 10, you could tell the ones that really want to get involved, because even when they come to jail, it could be their first time. You can tell, nobody's crazy. You could tell if they want to be bothered. And then you could tell if you don't. And then a lot of them is very outspoken like we are. They tell you from jump what it is. And they never have been here before. But it's nothing that nobody make you do or nothing like that. You have to, that have to come from you.
And I'm not gonna let the time do me, and I'm gonna do the time. And I'm gonna make my environment as pleasant to me as possible, because I got, I only have so much control over what happens to me while I'm in here. So the little things that I can do to satisfy my personal needs, I'm going to do them. I'm not going to force myself on anybody, and I don't want anyone to fear me because I am bisexual, But I enjoy myself as much as possible and whenever possible without being caught. But if I should get caught, I just hope that they don't stop me before I reach my climax.
If 2 women get caught in the act, what do, the officers here? You go to the safety cell, and then you go to the disciplinary hearing they have downstairs, which is a little kangaroo court, and they determine the time that you stay in the safety cell. And then sometimes, it all depends on who the officer is that catches you. Sometimes she don't even report it, huh?
You damn lie! You talking about what Miss Milton come and told you. And you going for what she told you. You wouldn't even let me come in and hear what was going on.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. I was sitting right there and asked.
You were outside when I called Miss Milton.
I was sitting right there. I said, Miss Christie, can I go in there and hear what they got to say?
No one told me that you wanted to go in there.
Nobody never do nothing when it's us.
That's not the truth, still. We
She even heard me. This lady here heard me when I asked, could I come in there?
No one went in there and told me that you wanted to
I asked Miss Christie right there, didn't I? I said, could I go in and see what they have to say? She said, let me ask Miss Castellan. Well, that's not my fault. I asked.
No, I did not hear her. Miss Milton said that she was standing by the door. You said that she was washing TV.
Did you let her read that?
Yeah.
The statement?
She said that the nurse did curse at her before.
And this is not our first time even getting into it together, me and Miss Pruitt. Why all of a sudden she want to write me up? I'm sick of these people telling them damn lies. I don't have no reason to allow Miss Pruitt and nobody else.
Nurse Pruitt reported to Sergeant Dillett when she went to pod 2A1, inmate Moore asked her for APC medication. When told by Nurse Pruitt that it was not carried on medical cart and gave Moore 2 Tylenol tablets, Moore began using obscene language and grabbed the Tylenol from Nurse Pruitt's hand with such force that Moore broke a fingernail on the nurse's hand.
She's telling a damn lie.
Until a disciplinary hearing can be held, Moore is placed on a complete cell restriction, with the recommendation that she remain on complete cell restriction for a period of 1 week. Okay, here's a report from the nurse which says the same thing. You want me to read that one?
Well, why she didn't put down what she said to me before I said something to her, and this is not our first time getting into it. Why she just now write it up? And they came back to ask me, was my hand scratched? Miss Milton did. If I was going to do something to her, I would have went on and knocked in her mouth.
Okay, well, I have to call some of the witnesses in here first.
It don't make no difference. Anything I do, I'll admit to it. Yes, I did curse her out, and yes, I did snatch the Tylenols, and she made the remark to me first.
A lot of people would like to put these women out of sight, out of mind.
And you can't, because they keep coming back, and they keep, putting fences against you, and you just can't forget them. They're there. You need to deal with them, and you need to open your eyes to it, and we need to start saying, well, what can we do to turn that around, to change that? When you build the facility like this, you take the philosophy of rehabilitation in that you can work with a person that they can change and that they can improve their sense of self-worth. By and large, we find in many of our offenders, the women particularly, have a very low self-concept. You can work on that. You can say, yes, you're a worthwhile person. Yes, you can do something.
This will pacify my need for right now. You are
whatever involved in crime because of a need that arose? Is that what everybody's saying?
That's where my conflict was, because I couldn't hang out with the intelligent people because half the time I didn't understand their vocabulary, you know? So finally I found the group that would accept me, so I went to them. That's how I got into getting high. And of course, like she said, one thing led to another. Before I knew it, I was out ripping and stealing for everything I could get. In the long run, you lose.
You know, when I was through ripping somebody off that I knew had a lot of money, I felt good about it. I really did. I felt, you know, they got more than they can handle. They're not going to care. You know, they'll write it off as an insurance loss, and what's the big deal? You know, my mother's never forgiven me. She used to collect laces, you know, back in Cuba. Here, it's a hard thing to collect, you know. And I ripped them all off and sold them all to this lady. And that's, you know, to her, that really hurt her. But it just, for some reason, at that point in my life, you know, now I feel really guilty about it, and I, you know, would do anything to get them back. But at that point, it was like, you know, here's a stab in the back for you for the way you've been stabbing me in the back. Whether you meant to or not, you did, and I'm hurt and I'm suffering because of it. So here's one for you.
It was
My thing was selling drugs, okay? I had to feed me, okay? My mother took care of my child for me. She always have. But I felt I was grown, right? And I wanted a job on my own. Okay, but I didn't have the, you know, the skills and whatever that they needed, okay? I could do a job, okay? But right then the need was, all right, you send out an application, I'll call you tomorrow, okay? All right, but then I have to eat then. I'm hungry then, okay? My thing is, hey, if I take this dope bag and put it in my hand, you know, God, I'm gonna have this money to feed me from now on.
On the streets, with this knowledge that police know you and they know your past, and they're always gonna assume that you, like Sally said, either got a gun or got some dope. How do you handle that? I mean, what do you do? Are they looking for you? Are they trying to bust you?
Man, you know, they might as well say, hey, I'm sentencing you for life, because it's going to follow you for that long.
How many times have you been here?
3 times.
When was the first time? How old were you at the first time?
I had just had my baby. I was 18. My mother was the sole provider, and she has 9 girls. You know, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, like little sweat boxes full of people living, trying to work, everybody staying in about 8 or 9 in one room, each trying to see that the other eat, sleep, and is warm, you know. You know, it's just that environment, and everyone is trying to make it one way or another. Everyone is trying to survive.
The first time you were here for an accessory to robbery, what brought you back the second time?
Heroin.
Were you hooked yourself?
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
How long?
I stayed on drugs for 4 years.
How long has it been since you had a...
2. And if you add that up, that's 6 years, and Ernie's only 7.
Well, 6 years of his life out of 7.
Right.
He's had a mother who's been...
He had a mother he only knew by name.
What chance is there for him?
A very slim chance.
Who do you want to visit? Raina Good. Control? Are they ready for contact visiting?
Let me check.
Come on, now, turn around, there. Come on. Hey, Ernie, give me a kiss.
When they ask you where I'm at, what do you tell them?
Like a jailhouse.
You don't like to hear him say I'm in jail? How it make you feel?
Sad.
Sad? You don't want me to be in jail? I'm not going to be in jail for long. I'm not going to come back for a long time, okay? And I want you to stop looking at me as your sister and look at me as your mommy. I am your mommy, you know. Ernest, you do know that, don't you? You look just like me. I want you to be with me, Ernie. I love you. I just pray that I can some way relate to him and let him know, you know, why I did some of the things that I did, and why he was always pushed off on my mom to take care of him, and why I was always locked up.
When you got pregnant with Ernie, did you want to?
When I got pregnant with Ernie? No. It just happened. And it was nothing I could do. It happened, and I tried to evade the issue for a long time that I was pregnant and, you know, hid it from my mom. It's like you don't think that far ahead. You know, you for that moment, it's for that moment. You know, you live for that moment, and then all of a sudden, here's a child, and you don't know what to do. I was in a dream where I was going to buy me a business, and then I was just going to stop living in the streets, and that was going to be it. I was going to live happily ever after.
What happened?
My balloon popped. That's what happened. It's just that in order to make that easy money, you put yourself in a lot of danger. You end up coming to jail. You end up getting tagged for life.
The Disco 15 weather forecast for today is sunny, highs in the upper 70s and lows in the upper 60s. More music with Disco 15.
Frustrating. So I'm just going to try everything I know. I'll wait around.
I was arrested in Jamaica about 4 months ago. I've been here for 4 months on a 1972 warrant for air piracy and kidnapping.
Hijacking?
Yeah.
It could be up to 15 years, though, couldn't it?
Well, yes, I've taken a plea of guilty, and I will be given no more than a maximum of 10 years due to the circumstances surrounding my particular case. They do believe that a maximum sentence is not necessary, so I can't get more than 10 years.
You had a child in prison.
Yes, I did. My daughter's cared for by some people that I know here in Miami, and it's extremely hard to have a child in prison. I don't think a woman should be forced to go through it. I think there should be some sort of alternative to the jail environment.
What is likely to happen to that child?
Well, the future is really vague, her future. Being in jail or having been in jail is a social stigma. It's something that's going to be brought out to her at a later date in a number of circumstances. She's well aware of it now. She's only 5. She's intelligent. She's perceptive like most children are. She knows perfectly well where I am, and I don't think she's too clear on why I'm here, but she does know where I am. And I can tell it's affecting her now.
It is affecting her. How?
Yeah. It's funny. She's a strong little girl, and you can only see it in her eyes. She doesn't cry when she leaves me. She tends to look away, rather, and I can tell that she's built up a whole bunch of defense mechanisms just in these past few months. She realizes that I'm in a really negative situation, and she sees me in a jail environment.
Did all of this occur to you at the time in 1972 when you took part in the hijacking?
Well, I didn't have a daughter at that time, and I really can't explain that without going into all the circumstances of my case, which we don't want here.
But did it occur to you then when you got pregnant?
Well, that's another thing that was really unavoidable at the time. Like I say, we can't go into that, but my pregnancy was an unavoidable thing due to
where I was and the fact that there weren't any contraceptives and, you know, basic things like that.
It happened in jail and prison.
Right,
in Cuba.
Yes, it was the first visit that I had had for 8 months. I had had no communication with the outside world, was never given a lawyer, did not know the time I was going to be in jail, did not know where my ex-husband I divorced was, had not received a letter for 8 months, and I was allowed to visit with him.
Anthony, you missed me? Say bye, buddy. Tell her bye-bye. Bye-bye. See?
Nobody likes to do time. I'll never get used to doing time. I hate it. I don't belong here. You know, I'm not the type of person. I'm all right. I don't need this, man. It's a drag. It's lonely. Think about, wow, if I would have did this instead of that, I wouldn't have been here.
The following residents will be eligible for visitation from 3 to 4 this afternoon. Tammy McCowan, Latricia McBurney, Gloria Martinez, Maria
I went over to the bank to get you $2 to get your lawyer.
He went to get you a lawyer.
I asked when you say you need a lawyer, I said, well, I go to the bank and get a $200. You know what happened? I didn't go to get it. I went to get you $200, I'll get you a lawyer because you said you wanted one.
He said he be back down here Monday. He said he gonna come back down here Monday. He said he gonna come back down here Monday.
Yeah, I'll see you Monday.
Okay, bye.
What goes through your mind?
Home. Think about the kids, think about my man, and, you know, just wanting to be free because being in jail is not, you know, it's no fun being locked up, but you try to do the best with what you know, what you have. So I just lie there and think. A lot of nights I just lay awake. You know, when it's raining, that's the time I like to look out the window. So I think, you know, wow, I wish I was home. I didn't have to be here.
Tell me what you saw the first day you came to the old facility.
Well, the old facility was long hallways with bars going down the hallway. And Captain Gallagher happened to be his name, met me the first day at work and showed me through the place. And all I can remember is walking down these gray, dingy halls, solid wall along this side, bars along this side, and all these arms coming out of the bars like this. Captain Gallagher, try to have a cigarette. Just, you know, like being in a zoo with caged animals that were just thriving for, you know, the food keeper was there with the food. It was just the kind of sight you don't want to see people in. You know, it's not the kind of values about human beings that you want to treat them like they're animals in a zoo. And
even criminals.
Even criminals, you know, and I don't care what kind of offense they've committed.
Trouble of this world, soon my Lord's coming to this trouble of this world. I'm going home to live with the Lord. There will be no weeping or wailing. Oh, no. There will be no weeping or wailing. Oh, yes. Weeping or wailing. I'm going home to live with the Lord. I want to see my mother. I want to see my mother. Lord, I just want to see my mother. I want to go home to live with my dear Lord.
Praise the Lord. Give a hand. Beautiful. You may get a high off of cocaine or heroin, but honey, you gonna come down after a while. Hallelujah. But the blood that Jesus shed on Calvary reaches to the highest mountain, and it flows to the lowest valley. Renew that mind, my God. Regenerate, my God, in the name of Jesus. Don't let her go out here the same person, my God, but oh, tonight, my God, with a new mind, my God, with a new heart, oh God, to do thy will in Jesus' name. Thank you, Jesus. Oh, dear God, in the precious name of Jesus, look on this young woman, Lord. We thank you for her, Lord God. We want you to look on her, Lord. We want you to stir, my God, as the eagle stirred this. Whatever her reason is, Lord, stir up that spirit that is within her. Thank you, Master. Hallelujah. I was the vessel. I prayed. I said, Lord, you are the potter. I'm the clay. Make me over, Jesus. Make me over, Jesus. Lord, do it today. God bless you. God love you. Sabrina.
I'm sorry, darling. Here's 5 milligrams of sleeping medicine. You got your water? Yeah. Okay. I want my $68 for that. You goddamn stupid. Fuck you. You goddamn blue-eyed, green-eyed son of a...
Control, we have Miss Grimes ready at the B-Wing elevator.
Right, there's someone coming up now to the 2nd floor. I'll try to get her on up 3. 2nd floor? 2nd floor. I'm coming up the elevator for you. Send Miss Tingle on up to 3.
One of your main purposes here is to rehabilitate.
Yes, we like to think that. Again, you know, there's a whole value about rehabilitation, and often the public says, well, rehabilitation doesn't work.
That's the cliche you hear.
And people say, well, you can't, you know, it's not worth your time and effort to provide programs for people while they're in jail. Well, why not? You've got them. Why let them waste months of their lives just sitting and writing?
And that's why you try to make this as pleasant an environment as possible.
Well, it's a pleasant environment because, you know, you don't treat people as animals and, you know, and throw them in a hole and forget about them. So, yes, it's pleasant in that, but they're still isolated. You know, they're still incarcerated. They're still kept away from their families and their friends and their ability to go downtown and see the movie on Saturday night. So they are locked up, and that's an ever-present awareness here that this is an institution. No matter how nice of an institution, it is an institution.
And they've still lost their freedom.
And they've still lost their freedom, and they're still locked away. But while they are locked away, we should do something with them and for them.
3 into 3.
1 time and 1.
All right. Both factors that was in our parentheses here. All right. 1 times 1 is what?
1.
Times 3. See our sign here? Our multiplication sign? Our raised dot? Which hopefully will be
problem now.
This jail does try. Of 44 women who have finished one of its special rehabilitation programs, only 3 have returned to jail. Much of the effort is basic: reading, writing, and arithmetic.
3.
All these efforts are unusual. Most women offenders who are held in jails in this country receive no education, no vocational training, little recreation, and no services for greater self-dependence on relief.
Well, from here I go to prison for 18 months. Why? Attempted burglary, possession of burglary tools, and burglary. Well, I can't say I'm really guilty. I can't say I'm innocent. But for the charges they have me now, I feel like I was innocent. But the way I got my 18 months, I plea bargained for them. They wanted to give me 5 years on one of my cases, 5 on the other, and 15 maximum if I would have took it to trial. So means my husband is locked up right now. I couldn't have got no lawyer, you know, a good lawyer, so I had a PD. If I would have took it to trial, even though if it would have came out as me being innocent, it's really up to the judge, state attorney. It ain't, you know, whether you're innocent or not. If they want, they don't go by what you were arrested, what you were being charged for, what you were being tried for. They go by your prior record. So I think you know, like it's a saying, you know, if you got money, money talks, bullshit walks. So if you ain't got no money, I feel like you up the creek. If you ain't got no damn money, you just fucked up. You're gonna be in here till these people decide to let you go or whatever they decide to do with you. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get no job with a record that I've been to prison before. And I'm only 19, I've been to prison twice. So I don't think that's gonna be no big help. I don't think these 18 months is gonna slow me down. When I get out again, I'm gonna be just as wide open as I was when I came in here. This is how I feel now, you know, but you can't predict the future. I don't know how I feel when I do get out. But the way I feel now, if they was to let me out the door right now, I'd go right to the Grove and get high.
Okay.
Deborah, tell Val I'm going to BCI. Okay. All right.
I'll give you a slack in a second. Now, the only thing about them is try not to pull on too much.
What did I want to do? Have money, hustle. It wasn't for kicks, it was for money.
It'll be a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, you take a risk. In other words, you're throwing bricks at the penitentiary. That's what I feel like. Yeah, well, it's a gamble. Every day you wake up in the morning, life is a gamble. You know you're going to gamble something.
Miami is a high crime rate area. We get all the narcotics pouring into Miami from all South America. You have the same faces coming in all the time. Year in, year out, year in. Doesn't bother them.
You got any answers? You've been at this longer than anybody I've talked to.
Yes, I think they should build more prisons and put your career criminal into jail. Your repeated felony offender. Put them into jail. Put them in there for 5 years, 10 years. These are felons, they're robbers, armed robbers.
What about the argument that is often made, officer, that prisons don't heal, prisons don't change, prisons
What
don't...
are you going to do? Keep 6 and 7 locks on your doors where they put these people out in the streets again?
Is there hope for rehabilitation?
They change some, but when they get out in 10 months and go back to the same environment, they go back into narcotics, crime, and so forth.
Well, you can paint the walls here and feed them well for 10 months, but out there, it's what they had before.
That's right.
I know a lot of people out there are getting tired of crime, scared.
Tired of crime, boy. I never, a country like America. You have to put 6 locks on your doors. You can't go out in the afternoon, you're afraid. And at night, it's a jungle. You can't go anywhere. What's the government doing about it?
What should the government do?
I think the government should build more prisons, as I say, for the career felony criminal. Take them off the streets. Maybe we can take 1 or 2 locks off our doors.
Would you put them in prisons like this?
Yes, I think everybody deserves a decent, humane place to live.
Even the criminal?
Even a criminal. We had to come out of the dungeons.
This is certainly out of the dungeon.
Yes, it is. A far cry.
We're just absolutely one link in the chain, and it's the kind of commitment that the community needs to make to their local jails and to their institutions and then to the people who they turn out.
But community after community is saying, we don't have the money. We can't afford it.
What do you mean they can't? They can't afford not to. You know, you just cannot afford not to do something for these people and provide them some opportunities to express this. Otherwise, they're going to go back and your crime is going to continue.
But the critics say they're going back anyway.
But they're not necessarily. You haven't hired them, you haven't trained them, and you haven't given them the opportunity, you know. That's that philosophy again, that they're not worthwhile, and they are.
You know, like, I'm going to go to that unemployment place, and they said that they have a federal program. Look at all the jobs. That'll bond me. You know, make me bonded so I can work with it, with the money or whatever's involved with the case. Man, you wouldn't believe how many jobs are in the paper. Oh, yes. This is just insurance.
They always be in the paper when you locked up.
11, and that's just the first page, and I've got 2 more pages to look through. I'm going to have to tell them that I've been incarcerated and all that. But got a lot of people backing me up. But, you know, if they give me a chance to prove myself, that's the whole thing.
Okay.
Watch your match.
Hey, he lose me on this side first. I'll never.
What are you in for? What do they got you for?
Several of them.
I got a call back.
Stand aside, please, over here, since you're on the...
Have you been here before?
Yes.
How many times?
How many times have I been arrested and how many times have I been here?
Both.
Well, I've been arrested total 43 times. Yeah, I was doing time in this year. I did a year here.
A year? You're back.
Yes, I'm back. I have 5 years now.
You need a match? You got a match? You arrest for?
Armed robbery.
Come on, man. Hey, man, I know.
All that stuff. Forgery.
Why do you do those?
Why do I do it? I like money, and I like the excitement. It's exciting. You get away. When you get away, it's exciting, but when you get caught, it's...
You've been caught now 43 times.
Yeah. But I don't have convictions 43 times.
How many times convicted?
4. It's not bad.
What's it like coming back here?
What's it like? I mean, how do you feel?
Routine?
Yeah.
No surprises this time?
No.
How long do you think you'll stay?
In jail? About 9 months.
And then?
Home.
And then?
School.
And then?
Street.
When the producers Benjamin and I set out on this project, we discovered that almost no film has been done on the subject. Women in prison haven't been of great priority, and now, given our fear, frustration, and anger about crime, they're in for more neglect. But even in visiting a good jail, if there really is such a thing, you have to ask if all these women should be inside. Most of them are here for nonviolent crimes, and jails don't cure drug addicts of their sickness or prostitutes of their enterprise. Neither do they keep women from repeating or their children from imitating their mistakes. The rest of us don't seem to learn much from jails either. Where is the early warning system that would help us to detect young people in trouble and come to their aid before they come here? Who pays attention? Why do we have to wait for the same class of people to commit crimes over and over again? Where is the system for dealing with their children? Why are most of the women who come here poor? And who cares anyway? Difficult questions, but surely a civilized society will keep pressing for the answers until it finds a better alternative than jail for the children left waiting and for the women inside. I'm Bill Moyer.